Welcome, everyone. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Kathy Bernetti, Chair of the Distinguished Teachers Award Committee. I would like to welcome you all to our Distinguished Teachers Awards ceremony, celebrating both our 2020 and our 2021 Distinguished Teachers. Here with us this afternoon are our Distinguished Teachers and their respective nominators, First Selectman Fred Camillo, Superintendent Dr. Tony Jones, Chairman of the Board Peter Bernstein, 2020 DTAC Chair and current Vice Chair Patricia Carey, staff, students, family, friends, Board of Education members, and many, many other GPS community members who have joined to celebrate these phenomenal teachers. Thank you all so much for your support. Over the last year and a half, our teachers have endured exceptional challenges inside and outside of the classroom. While we all navigated this pandemic together, our teachers rose to the occasion to ensure a safe and energetic atmosphere for our students. All of the submissions we received this year had one thing in common. Our teachers go above and beyond, day in and day out for our students, their colleagues, and our GPS community members. Before we begin with our formal ceremony, I want to take a moment to acknowledge and thank our DTAC community members. They have spent many hours carefully and thoughtfully reviewing the impressive slate of submissions. Thank you for your work in support of our teachers, and a special thank you to our outgoing members. Board member Megan Olson, community member and DTAC treasurer Cindy Lyle, Kiwanis member Christine Edwards, and Gosha member Jean Schmidt. We will miss you all next year, but we know your spots will be filled with new members who will be equally honored to work on this great committee. As a reminder for those who might be joining our ceremony for the first time, our committee reviews nominations each year that are submitted by students, parents, teacher colleagues, and other community members who want to recognize the incredible work of their selected teacher. Our committee has the honor of reviewing these nominations and voting for these distinguished teachers based solely on the content of their submission packet. Once selected, we work to ensure these exceptional teachers are recognized and celebrated for this prestigious distinction. This afternoon, we will recognize both our 2020 and 2021 distinguished teachers. Last year's recipients were unable to have their formal ceremony due to the lockdown. So our committee was determined to make sure that these 6 teachers got the public recognition they truly deserve. I can't wait to celebrate these 2 classes of distinguished teachers. They truly represent the excellence in teaching that we have here in Greenwich. Without further ado, I would like to welcome our First Selectman, Fred Camillo, to share a few remarks.
Thank you, Kathy. Good afternoon, everybody. It's an honor to be here with you all as we recognize National Teacher Appreciation Week, and also to salute 12 of our distinguished teachers here in town. Having taught high school history many years ago in New York, I know the dedication that goes into the profession, and I know that the preparation that you all do each day really is significant. You don't do it for the money, that's for sure, and you do it for the impact you have on other lives, and it's long lasting. Again, I want to salute every single teacher, not just the 12 here today, but every single teacher for what they do each day, especially getting us through this past year, saluting our Board of Education, Dr. Jones and staff just did a great job. And so it's certainly, we're very, very grateful here in town for all that you've done. But I also today want to highlight the 12 winners. Jennifer Bressler, Jennifer Dunn, Allison Fallon, Bruce Johnson, Jane Martellino, Susan Zirman, Dace Ashcraft, Barbara Bartlett, Colleen Drum, Jessica Keller, Erin Montague, and Lori Mulligan. Hopefully I didn't mess up any names there. Thank you all. This is a great, great honor for you all. And, we're very, very proud of you. And we hope you have many years in front of you teaching here in our town of Greenwich. So thanks again, continued success, and God bless.
Thank you, First Selectman Camillo, and good afternoon to everyone. I'm Tony Jones, School Superintendent for Greenwich Public Schools. I'm thrilled to be here today to honor our 2020 and 2021 distinguished teachers. I am so proud of our educators. We are fortunate to have the best of the best in Greenwich. You're all deeply skilled at what you do in your subject area. You always go the extra mile for your students, for your colleagues, for our families. And goodness knows, this year you have all certainly proved that. It's been a year, I think, like no other. I want to say congratulations to all 12 of you. We're honoring you today, and we want to thank you for your passion and your commitment. And I also want to say, have a wonderful Teacher Appreciation Week. You deserve it. And congratulations. And again, I want to add to what our First Selectman just said. Thank you so much for everything that you have given to our profession this year. Our children would not have been in school without your tenacity and really willingness to challenge yourself, to walk through fear at times. And thank you so much for what you've given to our children and our families. And now I'll turn it over to Patricia Carey, who will begin our formal recognition.
Thank you, Dr. Jones. Good afternoon. My name is Patricia Carey. I currently serve as the Vice Chair of the Distinguished Teacher Award Committee, and last year I served as the Chair. I'm delighted to be part of this ceremony today, which will honor both the 2020 and the 2021 distinguished teachers. Last year, the nomination packets were due on March 12th, the day after our schools suddenly closed. The committee's executive team was not sure how the closing of the schools would impact the nomination submissions. We were pleasantly surprised when an overwhelming number of nominations were dropped off that day. It is a wonderful testament to our teachers and their outstanding work that not even a pandemic would stop nominators from wanting to recognize them. We are extremely fortunate in this community to have such incredible teachers and staff members whose accomplishments are not limited to their classrooms. They share their talents and many gifts with their schools and the greater community. I am proud to be part of this committee and a community that values our teachers and chooses to celebrate excellence. While it is later than we hoped, we are pleased to finally share the 2020 distinguished teachers with all of you. I know this year's chair has thanked our committee and many others, but I would like to take this moment to acknowledge and thank the Director of Communications for Greenwich Public Schools, Sasha Houlihan, and Communications Specialist, Michael Antonucci, for their invaluable help and support. Today's ceremony would not be possible without them. And it is my distinct pleasure now to introduce our first nominator, Nora Mendelson, and distinguished teacher, Dace Ashcraft.
Hi, I'm Nora, and I'm a 7th grader at Eastern Middle School. Miss Ashcraft was my elementary school ALP teacher, but she is much more to that than me to that. The reason I nominated Miss Ashcraft for the Distinguished Teacher Award was because she encouraged us to take risks and learn from our mistakes. Miss Ashcraft was there when we needed a hug or an extra push. She challenged us to do our very best and was there every step of the way. She is kind and caring and has shaped the life of every student she has ever taught. For me, she inspired a love of reading that I know I will have for the rest of my life. She introduced me to a world of amazing books and showed me how to really dig deep into the text. She always taught me to be brave and to always face my challenges head on. I still turn to her for advice, and I owe her a debt of gratitude for everything she has done for me. Thank you, Miss Ashcraft, and thank you to the committee for honoring her.
Thank you, Nora. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, technology is not my strength. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, 1,546. Interest rates, 10.75%. The movie ticket, $2.75. And the best news, high-waisted jeans are back in fashion again. Those of us unleashed into the classrooms in 1985 had big hair and maybe a pair of leg warmers too. I embarked on this incredible journey back in the dark ages before computers, when we taught everything, including PE, art, and music. To say the job has changed is a profound understatement, but what has remained constant is the development of curious young minds. I love my students and my job in the advanced learning program here in Greenwich. Sometimes I can't believe I actually get paid to have as much fun as I do every day. I'm passionate about teaching kids to think and create, not the what, but the how. Every year, the first time one of them asks me tiny details of an assignment I intentionally left vague, I take them over to the window and I ask them what they see. It's the sky, I say. That's the limit. I remind them that we only learn this much when we get things perfect and this much when we get it wrong. But I say other weird things like vomit it out and we'll clean it up later to help them get past their writer's block. And I'd like to thank the committee for seeing through my often quirky and unconventional ways to call my practice distinguished. I'm still practicing and I plan to get it right soon. I'd like to thank the school board members, all of my administrators and colleagues for their support, patience, and login and password help. Thank you to my precious students, including Nora, who always leave me changed for the better, and their incredibly supportive parents. And finally, I'm grateful for my faith, which sustains me, my friends who I have roped into doing all manner of things for my classes through the years, and my family, both my parents who taught me how to think for myself, and most importantly, my 3 absolutely incredible children who taught me so much about how to work with gifted kids. Thank you all. I'm truly deeply touched.
Hello, my name is Kathleen Jansen, and my husband Eric and I have 3 children who have all gone through Eastern Middle School. They're all in high school now. And while they were at Eastern Middle School, they all had the very good fortune to have Ms. Barbara Bartlett as their health teacher. And that was for all 3 children in 6th grade and 8th grade. And in addition to that, Mrs. Bartlett was our twin daughter's field hockey coach, which they started in 6th grade, and they continue to play. And actually now year round, they'll probably play in college. They just love the sport so much. But more importantly, in the classroom, Miss Bartlett was just so warm and kind and really fostered a community, an environment of respect and inviting the kids to feel comfortable to have an open dialogue. So in health at Eastern Middle School, a lot of times the topics of discussion are somewhat difficult. So, she did such a wonderful job of inviting our children to come home over the dinner table and talk about stuff like substance abuse and abusing drugs and alcohol, or how to recognize maybe a toxic relationship in middle school or high school or college, if that situation were to ever present itself, but how to recognize it and how to talk about it and how to sort of navigate the whole thing. And these are skills that are lifelong sort of blessings from Ms. Bartlett. So, we can't thank you enough. I feel so honored to have had the privilege to nominate you for this really well-deserved award. And after your 30 plus years in our school district, I mean, you have influenced so many children's lives and parents too in such a positive way. So thank you very much and congratulations. And we look forward to celebrating with you in person, especially now that COVID is becoming a bit more manageable. So thank you.
I up? All right, well, thank you so much, Kathleen. I want to start by saying how deeply honored I am to receive this recognition. Honored to stand alongside past, present, and future recipients. Honored to be part of this profession and stand alongside every caring teacher. I am humbled by the magnitude of what being a teacher encompasses. As a profession, we are entrusted with young minds who are counting on us to help them learn and, more importantly, succeed in life. Each day comes with challenges and excitement. Good days, we are ready to conquer the world. Not so good days, we are trying to survive, regroup, and come back better. As a health educator, I greatly value and have a respect for the importance of the total well-being of every individual child. I believe that social and emotional learning and wellness are not just a term or a curriculum, but a significant part of who we become. One of my favorite quotes is, "Acceptance is seeing with your heart and not with your eyes." Just let me say that again. Acceptance is seeing with your heart and not with your eyes. I personally like to use this quote as a model for teaching. Teaching is seeing with your heart. Every day I strive to be an understanding and compassionate educator, to create an atmosphere of mutual respect and lead by example, to inspire students to reach beyond their comfort zone and be excited about finding their own path, to not fear mistakes, but embrace them as a learning tool. As a teacher, coach, and former athlete, I am well aware that this is a task that cannot be done alone. It takes a team. I have been very fortunate and blessed to be part of this community and to work with an amazing team of teachers, administrators, and staff. I want to say thank you to my sponsors, Kathleen Jansen, Jessica Iannacone, Joanna Savino, and Rob Walsh for believing in me and going the extra mile in preparing the nomination documents. I want to say thank you to my Eastern Middle School family for their support and their passion and dedication to this profession. I want to say thank you to my students, student athletes, and their parents for keeping me on my toes and inspiring me to be the best teacher I could be. And I want to say thank you to the Distinguished Teacher Awards Committee and the Greenwich Public School District for recognizing teachers throughout the district, and for my personal elementary and secondary education. Just a shout out to North Miami Eastern Junior High School and Greenwich High School. And a very special thank you to my family for their love and encouragement always. Thank you.
Good for you.
Hello, my name is Melissa Santangelo, and I was a parent of two Western Middle School sons. It is my absolute pleasure and honor to introduce Colleen Drum. My husband is fond of quoting one of his college professors who said that the best teachers do not merely fill a bucket, they light a fire. He says that all the time, and it actually is so true. Mrs. Drum did precisely that for my two sons, Sam and Henry. They were both lucky enough to get Mrs. Drum for language arts in the 6th grade. Both of them entered middle school saying they were math guys. They really had never really been interested in reading or writing. They did it, but it was just sort of a job. When they had Mrs. Drum, I started to hear about the books they were reading. They were very passionate about it. They seemed to be writing more, showing me their writing. They really changed as students. And it wasn't just then, but it's continued. They really still might call themselves math guys, but they often talk to me about their books. They read on their own, not just the school books that they have to read. And my son, Sam, who will be a junior next year, came home excited to tell me there was a creative writing class he can take as a junior. So Mrs. Drum really lit that fire in my boys, and I know that she's done it for so many students. So thank you, Mrs. Drum, and congratulations.
Thank you. There are several things about
the situations surrounding this award that are very fitting. In 2020, after 20 years of teaching 6th grade English at Western Middle School, I received this recognition. Now, 21 years ago, thanks COVID, I remember that day that I entered Western Middle School. I met my first principal, Don Strange, and I knew I was exactly where I was meant to be. I was embraced by the 6th grade team who became family. My team of 6th grade teachers have supported and guided me, shaping me into the teacher I am today, and I am truly grateful to each and every one of them. I have always viewed teaching as a partnership between students, parents, and educators, and over the years, my Western family has grown. Even as I found myself living up in Fairfield and tackling a monstrous commute on 95 every day, it's the families, the kids, and the staff at Western that have kept me there. The Santangelo family's nomination and push for this recognition reminds me very much of the Western way. Western has always been the underdog of the Greenwich public school system, but our Western spirit of perseverance, tenacity, and ability to sneak up from behind and end up on top matches that of the Santangelos. Third time was a charm. I'm honored to accept and share this award with all of my colleagues, past and present. It's a privilege to be part of the Western family and to come to work each and every day to teach beside people who know what I know, that the West Side is the best side. Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. So I had Miss Keller as my sophomore year as my AP US history teacher. And now that I'm 1 year post-graduation, I can see even more clearly that her teaching was a turning point in my academics. Miss Keller stands out as one of the most incredible teachers I've ever had the pleasure of learning from because of her genuine caring nature, ability to create a supportive classroom environment, and phenomenal work ethic. Sorry about the noise. That class was definitely one of the most challenging classes I'd ever taken at that time, but I steadily improved each quarter because Ms. Keller would not only provide extensive feedback on every paper I wrote, but would also meet with me outside of class often. So I could go on, but instead I will tell you a story. So AP US History was my very first exam, and when I walked into the media center just before my test was set to start, I was very nervous. And then when I found a friend, she pointed across the room to Miss Keller at the center of a group of my classmates saying, "Miss Keller is over there if you would like a pep talk." So of course I hurried over, and Miss Keller greeted me with a huge smile and pulled out my most recent paper. She applauded my work and told me I was ready, and her words gave me the confidence boost I needed. And that gesture is what I mean when I say that Ms. Keller goes above and beyond for her students. And I am so grateful to Ms. Boyer and Ms. Oreco for enthusiastically helping me nominate Ms. Keller for this well-deserved award.
Thank you, Isabel, for your kind and generous introduction and for sharing experiences of your time in our AP US History 2017-18 class. Your passion for learning is truly inspiring to me, and I am overwhelmed by this Distinguished Teacher 2020 recognition and so appreciative to receive it. It is through working with students such as yourself that brings me incredible fulfillment and joy. I'd also like to thank Karen Boyer and Lucy Oreco for their personal and professional support of me throughout this process. I'd like to share a memory of my own experience learning from a pivotal teacher in my life. I took AP US History with a phenomenal teacher whose creative approaches to teaching inspired me to pursue education as a career. His lessons, ranging from the political dynamics of the Iroquois Confederacy to student protests at Kent State during the Vietnam War, were engaging and fed my love of history in a collaborative environment where students were pushed to explore and be comfortable with academic struggle in order to meet their goals. I have reflected on my experiences in his class many times, and I've always sought to create a classroom opportunities that promote purposeful collaboration, genuine engagement, and allow young adults to pursue topics of interest, to take risks, and to pose questions of themselves and each other. I recently had a former exchange student of mine email me from Germany, and she graciously informed me that it was through her time in my American history course that she was also inspired to pursue a career in teaching. And she shared with me her tribulations and successes in the classroom this year. I could not have been more humbled and appreciative of her note, and I'm so excited for the experiences that her students will continue to have with her enthusiasm and drive up front and center each day. To my intrepid and truly collaborative team of educators within the Greenwich High School Social Studies Department and leadership team, thank you all so much for your exhilarating planning discussions and reflections on how we can meet our students where they are by demonstrating patience and generosity, and then encourage them to make unforeseen strides in their academic achievement. To my English teaching partners, thank you for your countless hours, that we spent team planning and discovering innovative ways that we could align curricula and establish strong learning goals for our classes. I'd also like to thank my amazing colleagues from Clark and Bella House, who have been my work family for years, and for their incredible demonstration of what it means to bring humor, compassion, vision, and teaching excellence to their classrooms. And finally, I'd also like to thank my family, my parents, Maria and Chris, my sisters, Rachel and Sarah, and my brother, Danny, whose devotion and ability to meet challenges with fortitude inspire me constantly. And thank you especially to my husband and my best friend, George, and our 4-month-old son, Marshall. Thank you both for your unending love, support, and push to help me accomplish my goals. I so appreciate it. Thank you all.
Oh, I think that's working. Hello, my name is Anne-Marie Bulis, and I have the distinct pleasure of introducing our next distinguished teacher from 2020, Erin Montague. First, I want to thank the Distinguished Teacher Awards Committee for choosing Erin amongst all the worthy nominations, and I especially want to thank Superintendent Dr. Jones for naming Erin as Greenwich Public Schools selection for the 2021 Connecticut Teacher of the Year program. As I wrote in my nomination package, there is no single person that has changed the trajectory of my children's education more than Erin. And I don't think I've seen anyone working harder outside of Western Middle School's building, save Mr. Bernstein, promoting the school and the AVID program to better the educational experience for all its students, making West Side truly the best side. This nomination started out as the best way I could think of to thank Erin for her tireless efforts, both on behalf of my children as their guidance counselor and on behalf of the entire Western community. And it ended with her receiving the recognition she so rightly deserves. Congratulations, Erin.
Thank you, Mrs. Bulis. Thank you to the Distinguished Teachers Awards Committee for the time they put into this selection process and for including the 2020 recipients in the celebration this year. Back when I was applying for positions, I had been devastated to not get what I thought was my dream job. Walking out with one of the administrative assistants on my last day of internship, she could tell that I was choked up. She said, it's gonna work out. You don't get what you want, you get what you need. And I've since come to realize that every winding road that brought me to where I am today is connected to that statement. Who did I need my teachers to be for me? And now, who and what do my students need from me every day, hour, and minute? As an alumni of New Lebanon, Western Middle School, and Greenwich High School myself, the educators in my life have had the most impact on my progress academically, socially, and emotionally are those educators who took special interest in who I was and how I was. They challenged me and insisted that I reach my potential, even if it meant starting over again and trying again. It wasn't until sophomore year of high school that I learned that I needed a relationship with my teacher if I was going to give them my best effort. I realized that if I didn't connect to or like my teacher, I struggled to care about my progress because I simply felt that they didn't care. My school counselor at the time at GHS, Mr. Mayfort, insisted that I attend regularly scheduled extra help sessions for chemistry because my grade began to slip. He also demanded that I set up that meeting with my English teacher when I got a 58% on a Shakespeare test, the content of which I still can't wrap my head around. In those very instances, it was the opportunity to build a one-on-one relationship with each of those teachers that helped me to learn as a person, that helped them to learn about me as a person and to see that they truly cared about me as a person and my progress. Those relationships got me back on track and working hard. I'm grateful for those teachers and many others who took the time to care about me. The example that they set is exactly what I vowed to replicate with my students. I want them to know I have their backs. I will always be their biggest cheerleader and critic. My relationship with them is the primary reason that I have success at all. I had no idea that I would ever be as passionate and fulfilled as I have from this profession. It's not a chore to get back behind my computer at night or check my email on the weekends. I truly love what I do. And while this honor has been so humbling, by no means did I earn it alone. It takes a village for the work that we do to make an impact in a child's life. To all of my fellow GPS educators whose classrooms I have sat in as a student, thank you for setting an example. Thank you to our WMS community of parents for trusting me with your children, for partnering with me in making choices and taking chances. To my students whom I love dearly, you push me every day to be my best self. To my principal, Gordon Bernstein, thank you for taking a chance on a fresh graduate in 2014 and welcoming me back home to Western. It has been an unbelievable blessing to learn from you and our administrative team. Thank you to our very own distinguished West Side, Best Side team of teachers who support each other, teach each other, and challenge each other every day. And to my greatest teacher in life, my mom, if you hadn't taught me and lived by the single most important lesson I've learned in my life, to leave every situation doing the right thing, recognizing when you did something wrong and figuring out how to fix it, I would never be as good a counselor, colleague, daughter, family member, or friend. Thank you all.
Hi, my name is Devin Burke, and I had the absolute honor of nominating Miss Mulligan for this award. You know, I was fortunate enough to be in her class my junior year, and I had the opportunity to see her amazing teaching techniques in person. She teaches in a way that every student feels that they can make it, and she ensures that they do. I can say without a doubt that she had a tremendous impact on not only my life, but the life of every other student that she's ever taught. You know, she was there for all of her students, both inside and out of the classroom, and I can say with absolute confidence that I would not be on the life path that I am right now without her as a teacher. And for that, I'm eternally grateful. You know, on behalf of myself and all of your students, thank you so much for every opportunity you've created for us. You know, when I say that I wouldn't be on the path that I am right now, I mean, I truly wouldn't. The conversations that we've had outside the classroom, they shaped my goals in life, and they shaped who I wanted to be and what I wanted to aspire to. So I wanted to also thank the committee for allowing me to be here and nominate Miss Mulligan, and I want to thank them for honoring her. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Nevin. And thank you to the Distinguished Teachers Award Committee for making the time in the midst of this ongoing pandemic to champion the celebration and appreciation of teachers and teaching. I'm honored and thankful to be selected among the many deserving candidates, both this year, last year, and from years past and for years to come. Thank you, Nevin, for taking a few moments out of the most interesting, like no other, senior year to nominate me for this award. And thank you to your parents for raising a thoughtful young man who has always had the desire to learn. Thank you also to my co-nominators, Dana Talata and Kate Bolger, and several student, parent, and colleague collaborators who contributed to the nominations packet, who inspire me always with their dedication to our profession and who lift me up and encourage me to keep taking risks in the classroom. Thank you to all of my students, Nevin included, who always pushed me every day to be the best math teacher I could be. There are a few people who made me who I am today that I wish to thank too. My parents instilled in me a deep belief that we are all equal and we can do anything we set our heart and soul to do. My brothers and sister taught me to be very careful with my actions because sometimes the unsaid words can speak louder and emotionally hurt more than spoken ones. My husband, who is my grasshopper to my aunt, reminds me to find time for us, for me, and for our family. My daughters, who allow me to be the mom of math to hundreds of other students each year, they are always my biggest cheerleader. And every year, whether I was nominated or not, they would say, "Don't worry, Mom, you're our distinguished teacher because you teach us everything." And I do want to say that I have a great cadre of educators to thank, including the demigod of mathematics in my mind, Bob Travers, who I worked with at Pomfret High School, and my mentors there, who first taught me my high school math and then taught me how to teach high school math. My second work family, which a few of the colleagues are here as distinguished teachers today too, at Central Middle School with Jim Bolger and Joe Frame and the Tuscan girls, who have provided me with sage advice and boundless adventures both in and out of the classroom. And I happen to get lucky a third time in my career and now work with my GHS math family, who are the most supportive, dedicated, and authentic people to work with day in and day out. Finally, I want to thank Coach Criddle, who gave me the most powerful lesson of my life when I was 9 years old. I was the tallest fourth grade girl at Our Lady of the Assumption in the Bronx, and I loved basketball. If I could catch a ball, I had a quick pivot and bank money shot off the boards. But trying to catch my point guard's pass on the run was just not happening. Coach Criddle took me aside in practice and kept drilling passes at me. They flew through my fingers and seared my hands. And Coach would scream out, "Come on, Lori, catch." And I sobbed and I cried and I said two words I will never hear the same again. "I can't." Coach stopped and shouted, "What? Lori, do you have two hands?" Bewildered, I said, "Yeah." And she said, "Do you have two arms?" Really confused, I said, "Yeah." "Well, kids who don't have hands and don't have arms can't catch the ball. You won't catch the ball. You have arms, you have hands, but not the will to catch the ball. Can't means won't. Now catch that ball." I don't know how many more passes it took. It felt like hundreds. My hands felt like they were bleeding. But finally, I caught that ball. And I looked down and I looked at Coach, and she cracked a smile for a split second and said, "Now throw it back." 2 years later, I made the CYO All-Star team because I told myself I can. I instill that life lesson in my students each and every year, just like Nevin said before. Many students begin the year with the "I can't do math" feeling, but Coach Criddle made me realize, and now I help my students to realize, that the will and the desire within ourselves to make something happen is always more powerful than the walls we put up in our minds. Thank you, Coach Criddle, for teaching me, and now my students, to be resilient, to persevere, and to succeed. I can, and so can you. Thank you all.
Thank you so much. Congratulations again to all of our 2020 distinguished teachers. Now we will begin the recognition for our 2021 distinguished teachers. I would like to welcome to the virtual stage our first nominator, Central Middle School science teacher, Miss Kate Brzezinski, and distinguished teacher, Miss Jen Grizzler.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kate Brzezinski. Our first recipient for the 2021 Distinguished Teacher Award needs no introduction. Over the past few years, Jen Bressler has worked as an instructional coach and has facilitated the creation of a rigorous NGSS science curriculum. She is constantly researching innovative strategies that are best to help students learn, collaborating with instructional teams and teachers, and going above and beyond to work with students to discover their passions. Jen is truly an individual who puts the needs and desires of students above all else. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating Jennifer Bressler.
Thank you, Kate. Well, I just want to start with what a privilege it is to be a teacher and instructional coach. Being close to young adults is so rejuvenating. First of all, it's just fun. And what other profession is it acceptable, but also actively encouraged to throw on a tutu, throw on a boa, some sparkly eyeshadow, and get up on stage and dance however badly in a super show. But being close to young adults is also so inspiring. It's truly amazing what our GPS students are capable of when opportunities are presented to them. Winning the International Google Science Fair for developing nanocarriers to deliver chemotherapy drugs, bringing the Roots and Shoots Community Service Club to Greenwich High School and having the vision to grow the program from what it was at Central and Middle to ensure an even bigger impact on the community, including raising $20,000 last year for Thanksgiving Drive. As a coach, being in partnership with teachers across the district has led me to an even deeper appreciation for what each student brings to our classrooms. As the district has shifted towards personalized learning in recent years, it's clear that students are at their best when their identities are known, both to themselves and their learning communities. When students are empowered to clearly express not only who they are, but their strengths, their goals, their dreams, their ideas, magic happens across every grade and every discipline. As these students embark into project-based learning or other similar experiences, they come alive, and their enthusiasm to answer their own questions and achieve their own goals is contagious. There's nothing like being in a classroom on a build day in science or a share day in ESL. It's truly confirming and invigorating to be part of the process of planning which instructional strategies will be implemented based on a given group of students and then watch it unfold in their hands. So my advice is to get into each other's classrooms as often as you can. You will learn more there than anywhere else. Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Christine Aronson, and I'm honored to be here today to introduce Jennifer Dunn. When I think of words to describe Jennifer as a teacher and her impact on students, the words innovative, creative, tireless, and influential come to mind. Our media specialist, Amy Coop, stated, "Jen is a dedicated teacher who makes it her priority to get students excited about learning, knowing full well that for some students, learning hasn't always been easy. Jen's teaching style is the definition of inclusion. Through strategies and patience, she finds a way to meet every student where they are and build upon their skills." Mrs. Dunn has taught both of our daughters at NMS. Try not to cry. With our younger daughter, we were all forced to pivot to remote learning due to the pandemic. Sorry. The second week of the pandemic, our daughter Ella woke up frustrated and crying, and she wanted to be back in school. Like many of us, I felt like our family was falling apart. I quickly emailed Jen and asked her to reach out somehow to Ella on her iPad. 5 minutes later, the phone rang, and it was Jen. She immediately calmed Ella and reassured her. I swore I wasn't going to do this. Ella hung up the phone and went and sat at her desk and did her work. I have no idea what that conversation was, but I know it's a moment I will never forget. I want to thank Cindy DePretta and Amy Coop for helping me nominate Jennifer Dunn, and it is with great pleasure that I introduce her.
Thank you, Chris. Good afternoon. I'm honored to stand or sit before you all today as a 2021 Distinguished Teacher. I'm truly humbled and grateful to have been selected for this award. I would like to thank the Distinguished Teacher Committee, the Board of Education, and Dr. Jones for honoring myself and my fellow award recipients today. As a graduate of the Greenwich Public Schools, I have been so fortunate to have many incredible teachers in my educational journey who modeled the importance of seeing their students as people first. It is impossible to forget how teachers like Cynthia Sherwin, Justine Demaraki, Ed McGeary, and Susan Pascucci made me feel and took the time to get to know each of their students beyond assessments and points on a data chart. These teachers and many more have inspired me to work hard and become the teacher I am today. Now in my own classroom, building trust, making connections, and cultivating a classroom community in which my students feel safe, heard, and respected is how I begin every school year and how I live out each day in my classroom. I believe these personal connections are what make it possible for my students to be successful during our year together, and definitely what got us through the pandemic last year. My students are the real reason I'm here today. There hasn't been a year that goes by where I haven't learned a valuable lesson from the 20+ bright-eyed 9 and 10-year-olds in my classroom. Thank you so much to all my past and present students for making me a better teacher and a better person. There are so many people who have played such a vital role in me standing before you today, and I wish I can thank them all individually, but my time is almost up. I'd like to start by thanking Jen Ben-Savingo, who knew bumping into my 8th grade English teacher while coaching a cheerleading and football game would open the door to becoming a student teacher at North Miami and entering my home away from home. Karen Harris was the greatest cooperating teacher I could have ever dreamed of, despite her love of snow and the Red Sox. There are really no words to express how truly grateful I am to have been gifted the opportunity to learn from her. To my colleague and dear friend, Amy Coop, who seconded this nomination and reminds me daily through her teaching and words of wisdom that love is always the answer. To my teammates, past and present, my colleagues across grade levels and specials, and to all my North Miami family, thank you so much for always supporting me and encouraging me to do my best. To Chris Aronson and Cindy DePretta, thank you so much for sharing both of your children with me and nominating me for this prestigious award. Thank you to Angela Schmidt and Sarah Wachowski, who are my amazing administrators, and thank them for allowing me opportunities to try new things with my students and for always believing me. And I always have to thank my parents, because without their constant love and support, I wouldn't be here where I am today. They both pushed me to follow my dreams and always work hard, always teaching me that nothing was impossible as long as I put my mind to it. And I most certainly would not be the teacher I am today without the love and support of my husband, Brendan. Whether it's cutting out laminating late at night, going shopping for materials for my crazy lessons, or encouraging me when the glamours of teacher life aren't so glamorous. He always has believed in me, even when I didn't believe in myself. Finally, thank you to my 2 beautiful children, Declan and Liam. You continue to make me a better mother and a better person every day. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Doris Meinelt, and I have the privilege to introduce distinguished teacher Allison Fallon. Allison has taught English language arts at Central Middle School for 8 years and has made a huge impact on her students. My son Lucas has Mrs. Fallon for 8th grade English and advisory base, and from day one, he clicked with Allison. He is a math and science kid, and English was not his favorite, and I will say she has encouraged him to step out of his comfort zone on his book selections, pushed him on his sticky notes to rethink his responses and rewrite them until he felt they were just right. With capstone projects currently in play, she is encouraging the kids to think outside the box, building their confidence in their creative and strategic thinking. 8th grade Justin Bernstein shared that Mrs. Fallon is an amazing teacher who always goes above and beyond. From seminar to English, she is able to turn a tedious lesson into a fun and engaging full classroom conversation. The work she assigns is never to keep us busy, but instead keep us engaged and excited to learn. I could go on at length and share numerous other quotes from students, current and past, that I reached out to, but former students that celebrate the impact and gratitude of these students have for Mrs. Fallon. But instead, I will simply say that Allison is an incredible educator and we are lucky to have her at Greenwich Public Schools. Please join me in congratulating Mrs. Allison Fallon.
Hello. When I was 20, I jumped out of a plane. Don't worry, or maybe do, because it was by choice. You see, the thing they don't tell you when you sign your life away on the insurance forms prior to the 14,000 feet climb in a rickety propeller plane is that for these brief moments when you are falling hundreds of feet per second, when you are suspended between the earth and the unknown, when you are pretending to fly, it is that taking the risk is worth it. Let me set the scene for you. After all, I am an English teacher. When you voluntarily jump out of a plane, you don't do it alone, at least the first time. You're strapped to an instructor. In my case, some hippie old guy who said he'd been jumping out of planes for so long, he'd probably die doing it. Not necessarily the thing you want to hear seconds before falling from the sky, but hell, I was a senior in college thinking I had the world figured out. Fear was beyond me. And since you are strapped to the instructor, you're not the one doing the jumping. You're not the one in control. You're the one whose legs are dangling out the plane's door and whose fate rests solely in the guy who just told you he'd like to die skydiving. And as you dangle, and let's be real, there's nothing cute or stoic about dangling out of a plane, the skydiver hippie old guy tells you not to look down. So I did what any snarky college kid would do. I looked down, and then I looked up. I looked out, I looked left, I looked right, and what I saw was nothing short of beautiful. To every person who looked down when they were told not to those who asked questions when told to be silent, take that leap, take that risk, do the one thing no one else has the courage to do. And once you do, sit down, be humble, teach it to somebody else. Listen to how they interpret it. Watch how they make it your own. I would like to thank with my whole heart my students, past, present, and future. I have a career that I look forward to waking up early for. I have an educational community that I am inspired by. I have the utmost privilege to teach and learn from students every day. Watching your aha moments, your developing empathy and compassion, your fearlessness, your creativity, and even your struggles. You all, in your individual and unique ways, challenge me to be a better person and to be a better teacher. Thank you, parents. Thank you for entrusting me with your child. Since becoming a parent, I truly see that you're giving me your baby to guide, to inspire, and to set forth on a path of their own amazing adventure. Thank you to my family, my husband, John, who is also a teacher and doesn't mind hearing more teacher stories at the dinner table each night. To my two daughters, Inara and Cordelia, who watching them grow up and be able to share their experiences and stories with my students is just fantastic and amazing to watch. And thank you to my colleagues who are, in all honesty, my friends. Central Middle School can be a scary place for sure, but Central Middle School community, those people, the educators, students, and allies, I would jump out of a plane for any day of the week. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Invika and I'm a sophomore at Greenwich High School. It is my great pleasure to share a few words about Mr. Bruce Johnson. Mr. Johnson has been for me, as he has been for so many others, a life-changing teacher. His classroom is a place like no other. From learning to build model houses, to gaining insight into the universe, to spending many afternoons coaching the Eastern Middle School debate team, he is always there for his students. Mr. Johnson creates an incredible environment with his endless kindness, patience, thoughtfulness, and apparent love for teaching. From the start of middle school, Mr. Johnson helped my classmates and I grow from shy sixth graders to confident speakers. All the while, he cultivates a love for science that is eye-opening into the possibilities that lie ahead, inspiring his students to pursue scientific opportunities in high school and beyond. No matter what challenge a student is facing, whether academic or personal, Mr. Johnson dedicates his time and effort to help them through it. I know I speak on behalf of the entire Eastern Middle School community when I say that we are so incredibly fortunate to have an amazing teacher like Mr. Johnson in our lives. Thank you to Ms. Savino and Mr. Duncan for all of your help throughout this nomination process. And thank you to the Distinguished Teachers Award Committee for recognizing Mr. Johnson. I'm now very honored to introduce Mr. Johnson. Congratulations, and thank you for all that you do.
Wow, thank you. Teachers are storytellers. We're not far in an evolutionary sense from sitting around the campfire in front of a cave, telling stories to make sense of the world and hoping the saber-toothed tigers don't find us. I'd like to tell a short story about change over time and thank a bunch of people who've helped me change along the way. First, I'd like to thank the committee for selecting me this year. I'm proud, I'm humble, and I'm really happy that I was selected. Thank you for putting me in this group of people whom I deeply respect. And I'm delighted that I'm seen as a part of this group. I've been teaching science and math for 20 years at Eastern and Central. 21 years ago, I was living on an Indian pueblo in northern New Mexico. 2 miles down a dirt road and over a couple of cattle guards. Now here we are. I would like to thank my wife, Carla Knight, for insisting that moving east was the very best thing for our family. She was absolutely right. Again, thank you, Carla, for changing our world. I'd like to thank Jim Bolger for hiring me 20 years ago. He showed me what a professional learning community can look like when teachers are invested in helping their students grow. He changed the way I look at teaching, not just academics, but how to get along, how to help each other, how to be better people. In 2002, Jim had a t-shirt made up that said, "Work hard, play fair, be kind." He meant it. I still have it. I thank Ralph Mayo for being a mentor over the last 14 years, 2 of them as his administrative intern. I thought I wanted to be an administrator for a long time, but I found it's more rewarding for me to be in the classroom. I like teaching. Working with Ralph has made me a better person and a better teacher. His tagline at the end of every meeting is, "Take care of each other." That works. I'd like to thank some of the people who know me best for working so hard to help me with this project, especially Joanna Savino and Anthony Duncan as my seconders, and the Karens, Karen Mabey and Karen Ball, for talking through the drafts of the application and helping me get my ideas put together on the page. Without your help, I wouldn't be here right now. Thank you very much. Last, I'd like to thank Ambika Grover. Being nominated by a student means a lot, particularly by Ambika. She's a person who's going to go far in this world and change it for the better. She said in the application, "I've been fortunate enough to be one of the many students who's gained a love for science and learning in this classroom. Not only does he create the unique opportunity for us to find our passions, but he makes it clear that he's on our team every step of the way." This is what we hope for. She's learning to tell her own story. My students have changed me. Thank you, Ambika. The one thing we're guaranteed in this life is change. Whether we adapt to change or not is the point. Can we be more careful about our world to help assure our long-term well-being? I'm quite hopeful that we will. And teaching in a public school makes me more hopeful that this generation will pay more attention and get more done through cooperation rather than competition. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Angie Hart-Phyllis. I'm an ISD parent and this year's outgoing PTA president. And it is an honor to speak about ISD's beloved media specialist, Jane Martellino. Jane is an extraordinary being. She is passionate, motivated, knowledgeable, creative, communicative, tech savvy, helpful, friendly, giving, cooperative, collaborative, resourceful. The list could go on. Jane is an inspiration. She is someone who dreams during the day, taking those aha or what if we did this moments and turning them into reality. Each project she develops serves a purpose and is not designed to be sustainable year after year. Whether it be developing lifelong readers starting in kindergarten with Mr. Wiggles, or the Battle of the Books competition, which connects 5th graders throughout the district in a reading comprehension challenge across multiple books, or the Charter Oak Book Award, which she founded, bringing newly released picture books to the forefront for our K-3 students to dive into and appreciate the whole book approach. This past year, when the academic struck, Jane was our rock, helping teachers and parents alike as we struggled to learn how to teach and learn and parent in that environment from a distance. In true Jane fashion, she saw a need, a gap, and she solved for it by creating Maggie, the friendly, relatable canine that connected to our community in a time of need in a way that only a cute, likable dog could. Maggie filled the social, emotional voids we were all experiencing. Maggie faced real challenges, just like the ones each of us were facing. She openly shared her feelings about her struggles, and then found tools she could use to solve these challenges. Life skills that everyone can use. Jane, I nominate you on behalf of all of ISD. You have had such a meaningful impact on all of our lives. Your reach is wide, and I know we are all fortunate to be a part of your web. Thank you for all that you do and all that you give. And also a special thanks to Terry, Ricky, and Ezra Murray for helping me nominate you. And I'd like to introduce Jane Martellino.
Thank you, Angie, and Mrs. Ricky and Ezra Murray for composing such absolutely beautiful and meaningful nomination letters. I also want to thank the staff and the parents of the ISD community for always collaborating and supporting all the initiatives that I've been able to implement in my role as the media specialist. I'm also grateful for the students at ISD who inspire me to approach my instruction with the same joy and engagement that they bring to school each and every day. A special thanks to Cheryl Robbins and Chris Harris, who provide invaluable media center and tech support, which allows me to focus on delivering instruction. To my fellow school librarians, your collegiality is absolutely priceless. And thank you to the Distinguished Teacher Award Committee for this recognition and for GPS for honoring teachers. And lastly, my love to my husband, my son David, and my daughter Laura, who have inspired me to be my best self. As I reflect on what this award means to me, I can't help but think about a newly released middle grade novel called The One Thing You'd Save. Well, I am a librarian. I got to bring a book in it, right? So this new book called The One Thing You Save is written by Newbery medalist Linda Sue Park. She poses a provocative question about what matters most. And the gist of the book is that the classroom teacher creates an assignment in which students are asked to pick a single object to save in an emergency. And as the students talk and argue and stand by their choices, some change their minds as they discover unexpected facets of one another and of themselves. And as I was reading this book, it brought me right back to March of 2020. On a day's notice, we switched to emergency remote teaching. And like all educators throughout the world, I had to instantly grapple with that same question: what will matter most? And for me as a school librarian, it was story. I needed to keep students and families engaged in story throughout this emergency situation, because we know that stories inspire us, they bind us together, they build empathy, they can make us laugh, they can make us cry, but they bring us hope. And hope is what we needed during this unprecedented time in education. But I also can't help but think, what story will eventually be told about this period in the timeline of our educational system? And my hope is that it's the teachers and students who drive the story, not the pandemic. My hope for the highly qualified teachers and administrators of the GPS system is to use the quiet of this coming summer to just stand back, reflect, reassess. I think we just need to be this summer. We can't move past this period of teaching during a pandemic without first grappling with the same question that was proposed by Linda Sue Park in that novel. What is the one thing you'd save? And through reflection, we can gain an understanding of what needs to be carried forward and what needs to be left behind. We need to take with us what worked well for students. We need to take with us those effective strategies that help maintain the social and emotional health of students and families and staff. We need to examine why some students thrived in this remote learning environment and others did not. We need to recognize the successes, the shortfalls, and have the courage to discard the methods and practices that no longer serve students. And just like the students in that fictional classroom in Linda Sue Park's novel, we need time too to talk and discuss and defend and stand by the choices that we deem necessary to ensure that in this post-COVID learning environment, all students will meet success while remaining socially and emotionally healthy. And all educators will be equipped with what they need to be successful and to maintain their own emotional and physical health. So what is the story we will tell of this time? Did the trials and challenges turn into opportunities to transform education? I believe the best is yet to come. Being recognized as a distinguished teacher in the Greenwich Public Schools is just another story in my life's journey. It's one that I will carry forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you to the Distinguished Teachers Award Committee for the honor of presenting Susan Zirman. Coming into this profession as a business person turned educator, Susan Zirman celebrates teaching as one of the most worthwhile professions someone can choose. Susan is a master teacher with the deep, enduring affection and respect of all. She sees, hears, takes to heart, and nurtures the gifted leader, learner, and citizen inside of each of her students. Susan students follow their leader, mentor, and superhero without hesitation or fear, secure in the love she provides and the virtues she models. She works her magic and unlocks the intellectual gifts of her diverse learners by removing social, emotional barriers and providing targeted, thoughtful, and personalized instruction to nurture a lifelong love of learning in the classroom and, most importantly, in life. Through the lens of Susan. In 3Z, we measure success by the ways we embrace failures, not test scores, because students derive a deeper understanding of their ability from reflecting on obstacles and real life learning. I lead by example to show students' success in life is inextricably linked to the character trait of persistence and resilience, and then present challenges that require grit, perseverance, and teamwork. Through the lens of a colleague, Susan is the kind of teacher that we all hope our child is lucky to experience at least once. Someone who will love them, believe in them, and gently push them to realize and even exceed their potential. North Street School parents. Third grade is pivotal, and Susan does a phenomenal job inspiring kids to give their best while ushering them into more rigorous math, reading, and writing skills. She is a true artist, molding precious futures while managing a diverse classroom and keeping everyone's best interest in mind. Our children have experienced the Zirman effect to initiate the spark that has ignited a year of learning and greater self-esteem. My lens. Susan is the gold standard, the best practice that needs to be emulated throughout Greenwich Public Schools, especially at the district and BOE level, because she understands the power of connection and that communication is the critical key to bringing people together. She exceeds expectations by welcoming partnerships, encouraging participation, and practicing transparency, because she understands the homeschool connection is imperative to keep social emotional well-being and thereby achievement on track. Parents talk about being proactive and an equal part of Susan's school family team, respectfully working together toward creative, positive solutions. She knows the values of relationships and maintains these bonds and deep respect with students, parents, colleagues, and administrators throughout the years. Imagine the futures GPS would shape if we could channel the magic of all of these distinguished teachers by establishing programming, curriculum, and communication that embeds their gold standard and best practices. And through the eyes of Kayla Glass, class of 2019. Third grade was a whirlwind of inspiration. I never realized a world with only learning could be so much fun. My teacher taught me how to be a better person. I will take these memories throughout my years. I still have a long way to go, and if I do the same as this year, my future will be as bright as the sun.
Hello. Thank you, Kara. Teaching is an amazing career and a wonderful opportunity. To be on the front line every day, influencing a child's life and future. That is what we do, all of us today and all of us in this district. It's incredible. Every day we get to see the glee in children's eyes when they accomplish something they thought they couldn't, when they learn something new that they apply to something old, when they discover the power of the written word. For example, I love moments like when I read a beautiful biography book about Mahatma Gandhi to the class, and then later in the week, a student came to me all excited to discover that Martin Luther King Jr. was inspired by that guy I read to them about named Gandhi. I love that after teaching children to write persuasively, a student who thought he couldn't write at all writes such a compelling and well-organized essay for why we shouldn't have any homework that I am obliged to give the class no homework for a week. I love when I hear from a parent whose son did a biography presentation about Darwin in my class when he was in 3rd grade, that he now is graduating Cornell with a degree in evolutionary biology and ecology. True story. These real life connections and beautiful outcomes are so much fun to watch. We as teachers are privy to little miracles every day. I even love the small things like this year when I played Dave Matthews reading William Wordsworth's poem about daffodils. Dave Matthews was narrating it, and the students remembered that Dave Matthews was the actor who played Otis in the movie Because of Winn-Dixie that we had watched together months earlier after finishing our read aloud. They are remembering everything. They are learning so much. We are really making an impression. We have such a responsibility. So don't get me wrong, it's not all rainbows and unicorns. Teaching is hard. Honestly, to paraphrase Charles Dickens, it is the best of times, it is the worst of times. I worked in the business world for 12 years before going back to school for my master's in education. I had always wanted to be a teacher, and it seemed like a good career for a mom with young children. Boy, did I have that wrong. I never worked harder or longer hours than in those early years. And now that seems to be happening again. When I am home, I am literally always aware of what I could be grading, planning, or reading to prepare for the next day. We dream of our students during our many sleepless nights. We internalize all of their struggles, their challenges, their heartaches, as well as their triumphs. It's a 24/7 job, which I did not realize, but I'm so glad I chose it. And the only reason I can survive it is because of my community at North Street School, being supported by administrators like Jill Flood and Kathleen Ramirez, working with teachers and paraprofessionals like my family at North Street School. That's what's made it all possible for me. And then when a parent like Kara Philbin recognizes your dedication by nominating you for Distinguished Teacher, well, that's priceless. I'm so excited. So thank you to the Distinguished Teachers Award Committee for recognizing me. I accept this award on behalf of all the elementary school teachers in Greenwich who teach all day, every subject, even during a pandemic. I dedicate this award to my 2Z and 3Z students and their parents, both past and present. They have all taught me to be a better teacher. And I thank you to my amazing husband, Hal, my 92-year-old parents, one of whom I'm in the hospital with right now, and my now adult children who have shared me for these past 21 years with this all-encompassing and awe-inspiring career. Thank you. That was brutal. Oh, God.
Congratulations, Ms. Bartlett.
Congratulations, Ms. Bartlett.
Congratulations, Mrs. Drum.
Can we get a drum roll for Ms. Drum? Congratulations.
Great job for winning Distinguished Teacher Award.
We love your class.
Thanks for all you do.
Congratulations, Ms. Drum.
Congratulations, Ms. Drum. Congrats on winning the award.
Can I get a hashtag?
Can I get a C?
Can I get a U?
Can I get a B?
Can I get another B?
Can I get an A?
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Ms. Drum.
Congrats, Ms. Drum.
Congratulations, Jess. We're so happy for you, Jess.
Congratulations, Jess. We miss you.
Congratulations, Jess.
Congratulations, Ms. Keller.
Woohoo!
I may not have been the best history student, but you really made it interesting to learn about, so thank you.
Ms. Keller, you were by far my favorite teacher last year. Thank you so much for encouraging my passion in history and making APUSH so much fun. Congratulations.
Thank you for showing me how much history means to me and, eventually setting me on the path that I want to take for the rest of my life. So you have been such an inspiration to me. Thank you.
Your class was one of the highlights of my sophomore year, and it was really, really interesting to hear about all the different stuff about U.S. history, and I think you just really made the course really interesting. I wish you the best time in the future. Thank you so much.
Congrats on your Distinguished Teacher Award. Woo-hoo!
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Ms. Montague. You deserve it. Thank you, Ms. Montague, for everything you've done for us. We love you.
Thank you, Ms. Montague. You're the best.
Oh, yeah!
We're so proud of you. We're so proud.
Congratulations.
Woo!
Congratulations! Lori, we are so unbelievably proud of you. You are so deserving of the Distinguished Teacher Award. Woo-hoo!
Congrats, Lori. Way to go. We're so proud of you.
Great job. Keep it up.
Congratulations, Lori. We're so proud of you, and we thank you for everything that you do for all of us here all the time, every day. Congratulations on your big award.
Yay!
Congratulations.
We're so happy for you.
Congratulations.
You're a great addition to the math department. Too bad we can't multiply you.
Congratulations, Lori.
Woo! Hi, Mommy. You're an amazing math teacher, and we're so proud of you for getting the Distinguished Teachers Award. Great job on getting it. Good job. We love you. Love you. Bye.
Congratulations, Ms. Bressler.
Congratulations on Distinguished Teacher, Ms. Bressler.
Give me an M. M. Give me an R. R. Give me an S. S. Give me a D. D. Give me a U. U. Give me an N. N. Give me an A. N. What does that spell? Distinguished Teacher.
Hi, Ms. Fallon. Congratulations on winning your award. You're such an amazing teacher and deserve this award so much.
Congratulations, Ms. Fallon.
Thank you so much for making this class so engaging. It's something that I really look forward to every day.
I also really enjoy your class, and I enjoy the whole class discussions we have.
I find it really interesting, and I also really look forward to it all day.
Congratulations, Ms. Fallon.
Congratulations, Ms. Fallon.
I really appreciate your help with all of my CERs across this entire year, and I know they'll help me in the long run.
Congrats on your win, Miss Fallon. Thank you for helping me with my essays, so I'll be set down the line in high school.
Congratulations, Miss Fallon. Thank you so much for being an amazing teacher. We love you.
Congratulations, Mr. Johnson.
Way to go, Mr. Johnson.
Congratulations, Mr. Johnson.
We're so glad you're a teacher.
Congratulations, you're a great science teacher. Thank you, Mr. Johnson.
Congratulations, Miss Martellino. Thank you so much for introducing us to amazing new class. Thanks for helping out here at ISD in putting together such amazing opportunities like the Battle of the Books. Thanks for encouraging us to read every day. Thank you for the amazing projects you put together, like the Chatter of. Congratulations, Miss Martellino. You're the best. Congratulations, Mr. Zirman. You teach us the best things ever. I love you, Ms. Zirman. We love you, Ms. Zirman. Congratulations. Good job.
You rock.
When I'm sad, you make me happy.
You do all the hard work for us, and you make me happy whenever I feel down.
We love you. I love you.
We love you, Miss Zirman. You rock.
We love you, Mrs. Zirman.
So not fair. They make me follow the student videos. It's really, really a hard act to follow. I'm Peter Bernstein, chair of the Board of Ed. And what better way to celebrate Teacher Appreciation Week than to talk about our distinguished teachers. For those of you who have not visited the Board of Ed building on Greenwich Avenue, one of the first things you notice when you walk in the door are photos from the previous distinguished teachers. So there's photo composites. They line the entire hallway. It's a really long hallway. They actually go all the way around the corner because this program's got a long history and we have so many deserving teachers that have been recognized. It's actually a good reminder for anybody entering the building that teachers are actually the most important part of the educational process, lest anyone forget that. Now, a few years ago at this event, I spoke about my second grade teacher and the impact she had on me, and actually still does to this day when I pick up a book to read for pleasure. But this time around, I want to focus on a different teacher. I want to talk about my high school chemistry teacher, Mark Simasco. Now, I took 2 years of chemistry, not because I was great at it, I wasn't, or was ever considering a pursuit of science as a career, I definitely didn't, but because of the passion he shared and the way he made the subject interesting to his students. He had a way of making things practical in ways that we could actually understand and maybe apply to real life. I still remember his teaching us about the difference even minor variables can make, talking about getting the Thanksgiving turkey to cook faster by turning the temperature up just a few degrees every time he walked by the oven, so his mother-in-law wouldn't kill anybody with an undercooked turkey. Now, as you would expect, a teacher like this, he heated his soup and his coffee with a Bunsen burner in our classroom. He also promised that if any of us in the second year of chemistry course graduated college with a science degree, he would attend their graduation. And amazingly, he did it. He was there when my friend graduated from college with a degree in chemistry. And again, when he defended his thesis for a PhD in immunology. He went from Massachusetts to New York, and then he went from Massachusetts to California. I mean, that's dedication. But now that I think about it, maybe it's my science-oriented friend and lab partner is the reason why I did well in chemistry and took 2 years of it. But the real focus of the story is the impressions that you leave with your students last an entire lifetime. And it's the little things as much as it's the big things. You were distinguished because your students, their parents, the administrators, and others recognize your excellence. That you go above and beyond, the efforts that you make have a tremendous impact on your students. So please keep inspiring your students, your fellow teachers, and us. Your work is impactful and makes a real long-term difference in your students' lives. From instilling a love of learning, including reading, math, art, science, music, and yes, even how to cook a turkey. And let me tell you, your students will remember you for the rest of their lives. Your classes may not know it now, but one day they will know that you went above and beyond for them this year more than ever. Before we close, I just want to thank Kathy Bernetti, Patricia Carey, and the entire Distinguished Teacher Committee for their hard work. As you can imagine, it's not easy to pick 6 exemplary teachers as role models each year from among the group that's nominated. What makes it more difficult is we have 900 amazing teachers in the district. So it is a lot of work. So thank you, everyone. Congratulations again to the teachers. And I'll turn it back over to Mrs. Bernetti to close things out.
Thank you so much, Chairman Bernstein. Hope you all enjoyed that amazing video. Thank you, Sasha and Michael, for putting it all together for us. As we close our ceremony, I would like to ask for one final round of applause to all of our amazing distinguished teachers. Thank you to everyone who joined in celebrating with us this afternoon, and I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Thank you for all you do. Have a good night.
Thank you, Sasha.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. It was amazing.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, everyone.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations to everyone.